Hello and welcome, sports fans, to the Kettler Capitals Complex. I'm John Baranowski. With me is Phillip, Prevost. George Mason University here on a road game against George Washington University. Should be a great game. New venue, so stick with us. Should we have any technical difficulties? We don't have our normal setup in the comforts of home, nor do we have Ethernet. So, stick with us. If we drop, we'll be back.
Yes, and if you miss parts of the game, we will upload later on YouTube, so you'll be able to see the whole game in its entirety if we do happen to drop.
Right, so stick with us. We'll do what we can. Road games, what are you going to do? Well, either way, we got a great contest ahead of us. George Washington is undefeated at home, you were saying.
Yes, I mean, it is a 1-0 record right now. Still undefeated and undefeated. They've only played 5 games, too. They played less games than our Patriots. And they have a 2-2 record at home, if I believe correctly. I believe it's 2-2, and then 1-0 at home. So it'll be an interesting matchup. Mason's coming off a tough loss last week against Christopher Newport.
What was it, 8-1 the final?
8-1.
8-1 the final, and I talked with Coach Hijack before the game. I mean, he said it was inexcusable, the effort that was given and the score as it ended up. Not much you can do about it. At this point, though, you got to pick yourself up and move on. He did say he wanted to emphasize that this season is much tougher. It's a bit of a rebuilding season in that 18 of their 24 games are against ranked opponents. Last season, only 5 were against ranked opponents. So far, out of the 8 games they've played 6 ranked opponents. So they've already played tougher teams so far than all of last season. I once had a hockey coach tell me that he could schedule a game where you'd win 30 wins a season. But that's not what you want. You don't get better doing that. That's what George Mason is doing here. They're playing a better schedule against ranked opponents. And, well, sometimes you got to take a drubbing to get through it.
Right. And, I mean, when we were talking to Coach last week, he said that those first, 15 minutes of real time in that game, they look good. He's like, oh, great, this is going to be a competitive game. They look good. They're competing well against them. And then it just kind of fell apart from there. But as long as you have some positives coming out of there to work on, you got a great plan.
All right, well, we're at the Washington Capitals practice facility. Enjoy the logo at center ice and the swag all about us. It's quite impressive to see and a great venue to be in.
Right, I mean, we were sitting here. We got here early, got here about 9:40 this morning. We actually got to watch the Washington Capitals on the ice practice. That was kind of neat. Just gave us the feeling of ready getting hockey this morning,
It's a beautiful way to start the weekend.
Yes.
All right. Well, enjoy the early broadcast. We'll see what we can do. We might have even watched the warm-ups because of our difficulties we've had on the technical side. Either way, stick with us.
Right.
It's going to be a good one. Welcome back, sports fans. John Baranowski here with Phillip Prevost. George Washington University, George Mason University starts here on a Saturday morning. Opening face-off one back by the Patriots. George Mason in the gold sweaters, the George Washington University Colonials in white. As it's over to the far side, going to be played back in by Dylan Talbot. Talbot has really stepped up here on the first unit starting this game. Back along the near side, played up but not out. Nick Ryan will finally get it through. Sevi Cordova will play it over to Tony as they bring it back the other way. Back to Sevi right in front. It's flipped up off of another stick and goes back behind the cage. John Grogan behind his own net. Flipped on ahead, carried up ice by Luke Yurkovich. Gets forced to the outside. Good defense there by Garrett Pohl. He took on the second most famous number 8 on this rink. And it goes on the far side. Tony Cordova trying to take it away. It's cleared back into George Mason territory. In net for the Patriots is Keith Fagerquist. He has 1 game on the season, a loss. No save percentage listed, but we'll have to deal with that. Sometimes just don't get the shots taken, as he takes a shot there, steers it easily into the... Aaron Shields will play it around to the near side, where it's going to be played up ice by Nick Baker. Pushed ahead by Guiney. And Baker, now it's back on that near side. Chris Boyes will send it cross ice over to Matthew Whiffen. Intercepted by Shields. Back over to Baker now on the near side as these two teams slowly try to feel each other out. Pushed in by Lovejoy. He lost it. Guiney couldn't get a handle on it. Coming back is Pouliot. Pouliot unable to hold it in, so it's going to go all the way back out for Ryan Pejao. George Washington with that puck. It's over the far side for Chris Boyes. Back around to the near side boards. Garrett Pohl will keep it in. He takes the shot. It sails wide. Not much mustard on that one as Mandeville will step up. No, it's going to go instead to Dan Vecchio. Taken back the other way. Richard Sire with it. He'll clear the length of the ice. It's going to be an easy stop by Fagerquist. Here was 17:48 remaining in the first. Along the near side, George Washington with possession there as it's pushed up ice. Goes through for Max Terhar. Played in front. We're going to have a delayed penalty call as a big hit behind the net. It's going to be a hold. Do believe it's on George Washington.
It does look that, and George Washington's pleading its case, but he's going to spend 2 minutes in the sin bin. Are they calling both?
Yeah, okay, so and they're going to be coincidental minors. So we're going to have 5-on-5 hockey continuing. You spend enough time working in the scorekeeper's booth, you start to get the referee hand signals down.
Yeah, but that one I didn't miss the. Was it a hook that he called on him?
It looks like a hook and a hold.
I missed the hook. I got the hold.
So Egan will be in the box as well as Max Terhar.
We got 4-on-4 here.
The referee was signaling 5-on-5. Well, I guess not.
Waiting a second for the penalties to go up on the board. It's interesting. It'll be different, weird to have the scoreboard in the middle of the ice instead of having it off to the sides like it is in Prince William.
I largely prefer it, but that bar holding up the net's like right in the middle of my clock. So the face-off won by the Patriots. Going to be taken up ice by Tony Cordova. They are skating 4-on-4. It's lots of open room as he centers to Sevi, but the pocket pick taken away by Jake Lessick. Back along the near side boards, Teddy O'Reilly. Ooh, big hit by Tony Cordova. Back on the near side, Shields will take it away. Back through it goes, and over the far side, Austin Fruchter with it. Intercepted there by Baker, goes back over to Fruchter. Tony Cordova trying to joust his way through as the puck off of Jake Lessick. He'll give it back to Fruchter now. 1:20 remaining on the 4-on-4. Puck cleared in as it goes over that far side boards. Shields will pick it up in his own zone. Looking for the cross pass, and it's not going to connect on that one to Talbot. Back it goes to Fruchter. Over to Zach Smolev now on the near side. He'll clear it in. Fagerquist will leave it off for Shields. 55 seconds remain on the 4-on-4. Carried up ice by Nick Baker. Baker will flip it into the near side corner. Stopped off behind the goaltender. That goaltender is Neil Hirschman. Pouliot jockeying for possession will finally come out with that puck. Centering pass trying to find Talbot just a bit too far. Pejao will step up and put it back into that far side corner. Talbot for it. Now Pouliot back over to Talbot. He can't get his stick to it. Pouliot lost an edge, but almost kept in the way. Now comes up for Garrett Pohl. Top of the circle. Takes a shot. Goes off of a skate and well wide. Cleared up and out. 15 seconds remains on the 4-on-4. A good shift for this Patriots unit. In their own zone, Garrett Pohl will have it. He plays it off to Pejao. Tries to put it ahead. It's stopped off by Luke Yurkovich. It's intercepted back the other way now. Lovejoy with it. Penalties expire. We have 5-a-side hockey. Lovejoy, thanks to Guiney, working extra hard to stay onside. Plays it back to Pejao. Now to Lovejoy, down in the near side corner. Takes the shot from the bad angle. Rebound comes out to Guiney. He swings around to the far side. Puck taken away from him. He's knocked down. To the near side boards it goes. Terhar trying to get to it. Pejao will take it away. Lovejoy from center will chip it into the near side, and it's going to be icing waved off here with 15 minutes left to play in the first. Mandeville stopping that puck on the far side. In the way was Jurkovic. Mandeville will get it right back, though. Looking for the pass. He's going to play it right in front. Bouncing puck just skitters wide. That bounced off of a couple players. I think George Washington, defenseman, played it last. Back to the near side. Chipped ahead. Carrying up ice is Terhar. Big hit in the near corner. Terhar couldn't stay out of the way of that one. As it's played off the near side. Chris Boyes trying to center it. Terhar right on the doorstep. Finally knocked out of position by Shields. Vecchio will carry up ice along the near side. He gets rubbed out on the glass. Down low it goes. Zach Smolev will carry from his own zone. Over to the far side. Ahead for Terhar. Centering pass off of Dan Vecchio, who will corral it back. Can he get a handle on it? He's trying to as he jockeys on the near side. Round behind the net. Tries to bump off another man, but can't seem to get through. Stepping up is Baker. Baker swings it away. Baker looking for it back behind the net, plays to Mandeville. Mandeville throws it in front. Nobody on the doorstep. They expected someone there in the slot. Back now to the near side. Tommy O'Connor for George Washington will play it off. Over the far side for Sire. Sire gets it back in front, trying to work the tic-tac-toe. Nothing doing. Fagerquist will get back to it, and he smothers the puck finally. A great back and forth exchange there.
Yes, and I mean, George Mason's had the better looks here, John, and plenty of the shots. I can't tell what the shots are because there's no shot count up on the scoreboard. But Mason spent a lot of time in George Washington's end. And Fagerquist looks strong out there right now. He's only faced a couple, but he's covered it up when he needed to.
He's faced a couple that have counted. Wearing that 13 sweater, a goalie in a 13 sweater is a unique experience for sure. Goes round behind the net, over to the near side corner. Tony Cordova battling for that puck. Comes through, and it's going to be played up and out of the zone. Off the high glass. Fruchter will put it back. Sevi Cordova will grab it now. Dangles once, twice. Looks for the third one. Oh, and he missed it off the side of the cage. About 6 inches off. Back on the near side. It was pretty, but just couldn't complete. Pejao takes the slapper. Sends it just wide. Goes over the far side. Pohl will send one wide as well. Pejao pinches back in. Puts it into the corner. Bouncing puck hops over the stick of Fruchter. Tony Cordova will leave it off for Talbot in front. Pejao steps up, takes a shot. Stick save and a beaut. Back to the near side. Pejao pinching again. Battling for that puck. It was played with a high stick. Washington will touch it again. Pejao will get it, but it's up and out of the zone. 12:43 remains here in the first. No score. Sevi Cordova steps up, dangles, and he lost it on the second attempt there. Well, we talked about good looks. Certainly seeing it right now from George Mason. His second shift back-to-back. Lovejoy puts it round behind that over the far side. Shields will grab it. Top of the circle. We're going to have a delayed penalty call coming against George Washington. Goes back behind the net. Sevi Cordova with it. We're trying to put it up top. He finds Nick Baker at the blue line. Takes the shot. Bouncing puck sails wide. Off the pad, and the referee is going to whistle that one dead. We're going to have a power play for the Patriots.
And Sevi was out there for at least like 2 minutes there, John. The rest of his line mates went off for a change, and he stayed on there. He had a tiny bit of a breakaway that George Washington was able to keep up.
Well, I think he saw the opportunity and stayed out. But you got to be careful because a tired player gives up many chances.
Yeah.
And he's staying out now.
Did you see what the call was?
I did not see what the call. Austin Fruchter is the man in the box, number 5. I didn't see the call. Well, that's the problem with not having a public address guy. Far side it goes for Dylan Talbot. Near side for Sevi Cordova. Just caught it on the heel of his stick. Over the far side for Talbot. Tony stepping in there. Tony Cordova looking. Backhand effort there. Just a bit wide. It must have hit a stick on the way in. Tony Cordova up top to Nick Baker. Back to Tony Cordova at the half boards. Sevi stepping in from the corner. Gives it back to Tony. Tony pinned. Sevi with a little bit of help. Comes out Baker and can't hold it in either. Dylan Talbot racing back to get it. 1:20 remains on the power play for the Patriots. Nick Baker will send it to the near side for Dylan Talbot. Cross ice feed it goes to Tony Cordova. He sends it round behind the net. Picked up by Nick Baker. Ahead for Sevi Cordova, who gloves it out of the air. Down to Tony. Up top to Nick Baker. Quick shot. Sails just a bit wide. I think it must have hit the pad on the way in. Dylan Talbot wasn't around behind the net. George Mason definitely trying to work an overload to the near side and trying to work it from behind the net. They've had much success with that quick pass from right behind the cage to right in front. Cordova. Back it goes to Baker. Takes the shot. Save made. Rebound. He scores! Dylan Talbot picks up the rebound, and we're up 1-0 on a power play goal.
Kohajek had his first power play unit as all his top scorers. The people that were on the ice just now make up probably about 80% of the scoring right now for the and it paid off.
Well, it's a great way to just keep on knocking them. I want to say it was Sevi Cordova who made the first shot. Baker, it was probably Baker and Sevi Cordova on the assist, but we're not going to know that thanks to the lack of a public address. Maybe we can sneak a peek at the score sheet between periods. Over the far side it goes. Lovejoy trying to hold on to it. Pejao will have it away. Garrett Pohl with it now. He sends it in, but it's going to be stopped by Matthew Whiffen along the near side. Nick Ryan pass it off to Luke Jurkovic. He puts a centering pass, but it's going to be taken off of Chris Perugini. Over the far side, played up for Poliot. Poliot battling for that puck, will finally push it ahead. David Guiney waiting at the other blue line. He'll take the foot race now for it. Trying to get away from Josh Grogan. Grogan will win that foot race. Still along that near side, played off by Lovejoy. Poliot played right in front. Guiney couldn't get a handle on it. He was held up, but he did get off the skate. Kicked ahead there down to the near side. Lovejoy can't get a handle on it. Up and out. Garrett Pohl will stop it at center red. Everyone tags up as it's sent back in. Over on that far side, it's taken off of Matthew Whiffen. Over the far side, Whiffen will battle back to it, but nothing doing. It's not enough. Forced up and out by Nick Ryan. Ryan will play it ahead to Jurkovic. Jurkovic takes the shot, save made on the outside of the glove, and it's up and out of play. Here with 9:27 remaining in the first, it's 1-0 George Mason. George Mason University Hockey is sponsored by Geico of Northern Virginia. Geico, where a 15-minute phone call can save you 15%. Call agent Dave Stinson, Sr. for a quote at 703-754-3555. Face-off won by the Patriots goes to Nick Baker. Round behind for Shields. Up there it goes, Dan Vecchio ahead for Mandeville. And it has a poke check there and it's taken back the other way, but the Patriots working to steal it from him. Shields will go over in that far side corner. Pushed ahead, Mandeville couldn't keep a handle on it. It's going to be Richard Sire the other way. Mandeville getting back to it. Sire battling his way through. Just lots of effort on that far side boards. Played in front, Egan will step inside. Mandeville will grab it, and it's going to be up ice now. 3-on-2 developing, but not much on it. Puck got away from Mandeville. Over the far side, Egan will take the shot. It got slowed down, changed direction at least twice on the way in. Kept in by Jeff Egan, who gloves it out of the air. He puts it up top to Baker at the near point. Down now to Egan. Cross it goes, trying to find Danny Gassel. No such luck. Up, but not out. It's kept in by Shields. To the near side corner. Set up, and Daniel Gassel will keep it in. Played again. Baker keeps it in this time. George Washington cannot seem to get it up and out of their own zone. Baker with it still. Actually fighting down low with it, stepping in instead. Ooh, a big hit comes from Connor Gear. Nick Baker, top point, comes to the near side on that big booming shot. Baker will get it back again. This time we'll flip it down along the boards. From Gear to Edler to Shields, takes the shot off a shin pad, and it's back the other way. Now Baker will step up. I thought that was going to be a breakaway opportunity for Richard Sire. Cleared right back in. It's off of a stick, and then Garrett Pohl will take it from there.
George Mason in that line there, John, outsized them. Just huge bodies. We saw that from the hits. Just, laying the pressure and the can't think of the word. Speechless.
It was quite impressive. Back on the near side, we're going to have a delayed penalty called.
Looks like Mason's going.
Well, in the box will be Ryan Pejao. Hooking is the call. With 7:20 remaining here in the first, we're going to have a 2-minute power play for the George Washington Colonials.
Oppose their will. That's what I was trying to get at.
Ah. Glad it came back to you.
Yeah, it took me a second.
Face-off won by the Colonials. Round behind the net, carried by Jake Lessick. Lessick, top of the slot, will put the shot towards the net. It's off of Garrett Pohl, who battles for it now, and he's trying to play it away from Teddy O'Reilly. Back through it go Chris Boys. Quick shot that came from Max Terhar. Near side it goes for Boys. To the far side, he was trying to find Lessick, but it's intercepted and sent up and out by David Guiney. 1:30 remains on the power play as it's forced up from the goaltender of Neil Hirschman. Far side played in by Boys. Chris Boys from the slot will play it out to Terhar. Takes the shot. It sails wide. Up and out, and it looks like this George Washington team is already pretty tired. Little effort came from Jake Lessick on getting to that puck.
Well, and their power play is only converting at 10%, John.
Doesn't help. Does not help. Richard Sire on the outside leaves it off for Lessick. Up top for Terhar. To the near side for Boys. To Terhar. Quick shot. Save made in the glove by Fagerquist. He'll hang on. I think even the referee was looking where that one was.
I didn't see. I mean, it went under like 3 players. I don't know how Keith could get that either.
It was good positioning. All he had to do was just reach out, and the puck was there.
But, I mean, George Mason penalty kills at an 88.5% right now, which is pretty good right now against a 10% conversion rate for George Washington.
53 seconds remains on that power play for the Colonials. It played right in front. Fagerquist makes a save. It pops loose. We're going to have a tussle in front as Fagerquist was knocked into the back of the net. Chris Perugini, the man down low in there. There's another man in there as well. I think it's Luke Yurkovich.
Well, the referee blew the whistle because the puck, you couldn't see the puck anymore. It looked like that Fagerquist had it, but it was kind of loose, but just from the angle, it was covered up, so they blew the whistle.
I mean, I agreed with the cover-up.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you, too. Yeah. They should have called it a slash.
Why it popped loose, I'm not sure, but it did. We're going to have some calls based on it. Going to be a slash on Luke Yurkovich.
Even after the whistle, you take that extra shot at the goalie. They're going to catch it.
Well, that's going to negate their man advantage. We'll have 48 seconds of 4-on-4 action. George Mason University Hockey is sponsored by the Spine and Joint Institute, located in Fairfax, Virginia. They focus on family wellness, sports medicine, and your chiropractic needs. Call to book your appointment at 703-994-4874. Visit them online at sjinstitute.com for more details. Face-off won by George Washington. Austin Fruchter with it. Battles away from Pouliot, but Baker will stand tall and take that puck away from him. Josh Grogan over on the far side. Lovejoy working through, but centers to Pouliot on the backhand effort. Pouliot will swing into the corner looking to set something up 4-on-4. 28 seconds remains of that 4-on-4 as the shot came from Shields, but got caught up in traffic. Lovejoy's pass will be played up, but Pouliot will take it away. Dangles is Pouliot. It's up to Baker, who just gloves it easily out of the air. Quick shot save made by Hirschman. Near side it goes. Pouliot will play it ahead. That was Lovejoy who plays it up top now to Baker. Back down low to Lovejoy. We have 3 seconds on 4-on-4. Baker takes a shot. 6 save made. Pouliot reaching for it in that near corner. A little bit of help from Lovejoy. Plays it up through center, and it's back the other way as George Mason was looking to get the right personnel on. They have a minute of power play now as Nick Baker will carry into the zone.
Got the Codoros coming out now, John.
Centers through for Talbot, now to Baker. Down low to Sevi Cordova. Over to Tony. Cycling through that near corner. Up top for Baker. Quick shot. Oh, off the mask of the goaltender. Another shot. Save made. Goes into the near side corner's high glass. Baker. Far side for Talbot. We have 35 seconds of 5-on-4. Sneaky little shot. Went off a stick up high and covered up there by Neil Hirschman. A good save made.
He was begging for that stoppage there, John. You know,
I mean, a puck directly to the cage, that still is exceptionally loud. You still can get a concussion from it. It just makes it so, well, you don't lose any parts of your face.
And a little shake of his head after you got hit with the head just to make sure that it was all there.
I mean, with the exception of Roman Czechmonic, no goalie tries to save it off of his mask. Save made in the glove. The occasional Dominik Hasek. I've never seen him try and make it with the mask, but I will trust the cameraman. He is a goalie coach. 23 seconds remain on the 5-on-4.
Maybe we can trust him.
Maybe. Face-off won by George Washington, but Sevy Cordova will step in, and just a phalanx of players in that near side corner. There was a lot of gold showing up at once. Baker backhands the pass to Tony Cordova. Down it goes for Sevy. Up top for Mandeville. Quick shot. Save made on the toe. Rebound bouncing its way through there pinball style. Banning on the clearing opportunity. And it's back now for Mandeville again. To Tony Cordova to Sevy. Couldn't put it in, and we have the goaltender bowled over. Mandeville went over top of him, and we're going to have a whistle. Are they going to call that a rough?
I'm actually surprised they didn't call a penalty on that one. Even though the guy got pushed into him, he kind of did just knock out the goalie there.
Well, it's one of those things where, well, did you try to get out of the way? Well, okay, we'll give you the benefit. So we're just going to have a whistle and the face-off coming outside the zone. Love will win it. Pejao will take what's left and hand it back to Pouliot. Taken away quickly by Matthew Whiffen, but it's off of his skate and back into the zone. Bouncing puck along the near side. Lovejoy unable to hang on. It's over to the far side now. It goes for Jake Lessig. Lessig in behind the man. Pole standing up tall. And he'll take that one away and launch it down ice. 3:30 remains here in the period. We're at five-a-side hockey. It's 1-0 for George Mason. Back through it goes. Picked up by Garrett Pole. Pole driving in, drops it off to Lovejoy. Puts a quick shot on. Save made on the stick. Pole back on for Lovejoy. In front for Pejao. He can't corral it. Guiney will help out. He can't get a handle on it either. Backhand effort. Second chance from Lovejoy. It skitters wide on the far side now. Pouliot couldn't get to it either. Up and out. Garrett Pole. He can't corral it. That puck is just running wild. Back through. Shot and up and out of play off of the stick.
John, I mean, I said this before, but George Mason's just pushing George Washington around right now. I mean, they're just, they're getting in front of the goalie, and, they're whiffing on the first shots, but because they're so big, they're just pushing the players out of the way and getting that puck back.
There's a lot to be said for that. I think we'll go over that quite a bit in the intermission report. And it comes through now. Shields will play it ahead for Edler. Over to the far side, where it's going to be picked up there by Connor Gear. Round behind the net. Big hit back behind. On the near side it goes. Shields. Bouncing puck. It goes for David Guiney. I'm sorry. That was trying to work that in front. Back now it goes. Daniel Gassel couldn't hang on to it. As Will Edler will play it back down low for Gassel. Centering pass taken away. Carried up ice by Chris Perugini. Down in Patriot territory, Shields rides the man into the boards. Shields smothers the next man. Oh, it was like a fire blanket. You could just see nothing left of him. Back through, Connor Gear will play it ahead. 2 minutes remain here in the first. 1-0 George Mason.
Aaron Shields shielded. I won't quit my day job, I know.
Back through it goes for Vecchio. Oh, I thought it was intercepted on the way in. It's okay, you're a teacher. We all expect lame jokes. Back over the far side, Mandeville will pick it up. Knocks the man down and gets back to it as Vecchio will step in now. Up to Egan, who slaps it. Didn't get all of it, but a nice pad save. Rebound, it's underneath the goaltender. Fall on it, and they'll make the save on that one. Whew. That was a close one for Neil Hirschman. 1:25 remains in the first.
But he was smart about it. He knew he didn't know where it was, and he probably thought it was under him. So he turned to the side and got his pad down so he couldn't, when he sat down, push the puck into the net, which we've seen so many times happen to goalies.
It's true. You kind of have to flop down onto it rather than just laying down. It makes a bit of a difference when you bump a puck into the net.
Practice his snow angel technique.
Well, I'm sure he's been snowed plenty of times. Has plenty of ice chips to work with. Back down low it goes for Richard Sire. Over the far side, we pushed up and out by Jeff Egan. Matthew Whiffen will scoop it up and round the horn he'll send it. to the near side. Tommy O'Connor will play it up and out, but it's going to go right back in thanks to Dan Vang. No, it's going to be stopped there. A good offer by O'Connor. Mandeville forcing in. O'Connor a third time will keep it out. Egan will play it over to the far side. Get it through for Pejao. Over to that far side boards, picked up by Whiffen. To the near side for Grogan. Over to Pejao. We have 38 seconds remaining here in the first. 1-0 George Mason as the puck almost out of play, and some players calling for it. As it goes to Sevi Cordova, but it's taken off of his stick by Grogan. Ahead for O'Reilly. Centering through for Sire, and he couldn't hang on. 23 seconds remain. Now as it's played over to the near side. Scooped up there by Dylan Talbot. Ahead for Tony Cordova. They have 15 seconds to work with. Tony, the backhand pass, just a bit too far for everybody, but Nick Baker will pick it up on the far half boards. He sends it towards the net, goes over to Sevi. They have 5 seconds remaining. Bouncing puck, stopped in front, carried up and out, and that's how we're going to end the period, negating that one-on-one opportunity with Max Terhar against Keith Fagerquist. Well, that's going to wrap up a good first period of play for the George Mason University Patriots. They're up 1-0. I'm John Baranowski. With me is Phillip Prevost. Join us for the intermission report right after this. Welcome back, sports fans. John Baranowski here with Phillip Prevost. Well, 1-0 is your score. Probably should be a whole lot more than that. George Mason certainly out-muscling George Washington throughout that game.
Absolutely. I was thinking between the break, it's like it has to be like at least half the size, half times more. They're just huge, and it's taking a toll on George Washington. The bodies of George Mason are just pounding on George Washington, and it's taking a toll, and I think we can start seeing it already.
And George Washington's, I believe, their only power play, they just didn't look like they had it in them. You know, when you have a power play, you have to take it to the other team. You have to be upbeat and pushing your whole way, and they didn't look like they had it in them. They looked tired on the power play, and that's not a good sign.
No, and it was a short power play, too, because then they were guilty of something, and I think it was like, what, a minute? Only like 30 seconds in or something like that?
It was a good 50 seconds, maybe.
And, I mean, if you look at the numbers, they only have a 10% on their power play. So, power play. I said it again. My Pittsburghese.
Now that you're in the belly of the beast for a Pittsburgh fan.
Yeah, this is scary. I'm quivering in my boots. That might explain why it's only at 10%, because they didn't have much there, but they didn't have that much time on the power play. So
it's misleading. It's what happens.
And give the Patriots credit. Their PK is at 88.5 right now. That's good. I know, by any standards, that's really good, especially compared to the game we saw last week when they gave up a couple power play goals. Still be at 88. That's decent.
Yeah, and I mean, night and day on the teams, but I mean, the matchup also night and day.
Yellow and black, or dark blue. Get it? Night and day.
Oh, my God. So, George Mason thoroughly outplaying George Washington. The question is, why is it only 1-0? George Mason really should make sure they keep it to him, because whenever you have those games where if you play a little soft, that's when people get hurt. That's when bad things happen. So they got to make sure they take it to them before they even think of calling off the Dogs, because you can't let a game like this slip away.
And, I mean, it's one shot, tie game. So Patriots should have been rewarded more for their work, but they got to keep at it. They can't fall asleep. They can't be like, oh, we could just push them around, because they're going to get someone that sneaks in there and get one right behind Fagerquist, and a whole different ball game now.
Right. As you said, all it takes is one shot at this point. This game should definitely be 4-0 by the end of this next period.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can hang on.
Yeah, let's see.
All right, well, I guess it's going to wrap it up for us. I do have a note. I want to make sure we get this in, because this is important. George Mason is having their fundraiser for the Children's Hospital Cancer Ward on December 13th. They have a goal of reaching $20,000, and that sounds astronomical, but 2 years ago they beat that and got $22,000. So it's impressive. It's Be Brave and Shave campaign, Heroes Against Childhood Cancer, where the players shave their heads and they collect money, and it's really a fantastic cause. December 13th is the date. Stay tuned to these broadcasts. We're hoping to have Coach Hijack up here at some point. Next game, we might have someone from the Be Brave and Shave campaign or Children's Hospital to talk about this. This is big. This is important. It's a great cause. They just had their visit to Children's Hospital. George Mason did as a team. Let's see if we can get one of those pictures up. I don't think I'm going to be able to talk over it,
no.
But you want to give it a shot and see if we can
I'll put it on
display it at least for them? So you can see, a lot of good being done. I wish we had more pictures to show, but I can't talk over them as right now.
No, right now.
So
next game we'll try to have something set up.
I want to have an actual ad and make this proper because this is a great thing, and I just got the details of it this morning. So it's the Be Brave and Shave campaign, Heroes Against Childhood Cancer. December 13th is the big date, though I'm sure they'll be raising money prior to that. Pay attention to George Mason Hockey's website as well as on these broadcasts. We will give you as much information as we can. We'll show you one last picture, which includes the logo and the banner of the Be Brave and Shave campaign, and then we'll take it back to the spinny puck and to the drop of the puck.
All
right, thank you very much, and let's go ahead and show that and send them on out. Welcome back, sports fans. It's impressive to call a game with the banners like this on the side wall. Dale Hunter, Rod Langway, Mike Gartner, and Yvonne Lombre, Capitals legends here on the boards. Yes, I realize as the Pens fan besides me chuckles. No, it's impressive. These are guys who, some of them Hall of Famers. If they're not in, they should be. It's a lot of great names.
Yeah, I'm actually impressed because your amount of hockey knowledge never ceases to amaze me, because I would have never known that.
The only one I wasn't sure on was Labre, and I probably should look that up, but I think it's Yvonne.
Can you give me a cookie if you're wrong?
No. No, I'm just going to act confident and hope no one realizes. So it comes... The face-off, one back, round to the near side. Baker will play it over the far side for David Guiney. A spring in their step for George Mason as it comes back around behind David Guiney. Puts it in front, trying to find Pouliot. Pouliot trying to backhand it over to Lovejoy, didn't connect. Back through it goes. Pouliot got a piece of that pass, but not all of it, and it knocked it off from Guiney. Guiney ramming a man on the near side. As it bounces off, and it's going to be carried up and out by Jake Lessick. He's going to get it ahead. He will get ahead for Terhart. Takes a shot. Glove save by Fagerquist. 19-20 remains here in the second early on, and we got a big save by the Tendy.
Yeah, number 13 was kind of cherry-picking along the line, waiting for that pass. And George Mason was smart. They kept the guy back here because they saw one of their players, George Washington, behind the defense. You don't want to make any mistakes right now.
Face-off sent over to the far side. Played over, away from Chris Boyes, around behind the net. Luke Yurkovich couldn't get a handle on it. Dylan Talbot stepping in. Oh, Yurkovich with a big hit there. Got the elbow up into him, and I think we're going to get that call for it. They're going to call it a charge. I thought there was an elbow came up for Yurkovich. Either way, he's going to the box.
The stick went what?
Flying?
Flying. 4.
That was a big hit on Dylan Talbot, and to go down like that, I don't think that was completely legitimate.
Well, you kind of expect this from George Washington. They're trying to match the physicality of George Mason, and it just was too much. And, I mean, it didn't look like it was a vicious hit. I just think the angle, how he came in, more of an emphasis of he was going to hit you, so they got him with the charge. That's why I can't be a hockey player. I'd be charging everyone. I'd be so mad all the time. I have like 600 minutes in the box.
Quick save made there off the shot from Baker. Yeah, the only charging you do now is on your credit card.
I can't do that much anymore. There's not much space on it right now. With the
Oh, God. We're not getting into finances. Face-off won by Tony Cordova. Over to the far side for Nick Baker. Baker over to Sevi Cordova. Steps in for Talbot, takes the shot. Talbot got the goal off a rebound. The lone goal so far in this contest. Sevi has it on the far half boards. Up to Baker, top of the slot. he takes the pass through. Mandeville had it in the middle. He's going to play it over down to Talbot on the near side. Cross-ice pass goes over for Sevi Cordova. Baker steps in. Sevi will get it back. 1:30 remains on the power play. They put it down low to Tony. And Talbot had a handle on it, but not enough. Sevi Cordova, they're working that overload to the far side, trying to draw everyone in, and so far it's working. Back up top to Baker. Over now to Sevi Cordova on the half boards. Up top to Baker. Takes the fluttering shot. I think it was more of a pass. It goes over to Sevi. Far side now, Tony from behind the net. Over to Sevi. 1:04 remains on the power play. Baker, top of the slot. Sevi, Tony. Talbot, he scores! Dylan Talbot takes the feed and pops it in the back of the net. Your second power play goal, and I believe his second of the game.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like I believe the third time they tried that pass. Go from behind the net, you go to the 1 point, pass across, and they kept trying until it worked. So the good all. And then the thing is, until they stop it, keep doing it. So
I think that was exactly the mentality there. Do it till it works. They had time. They spent a whole minute and 2 seconds in George Washington territory. It never came out. Back through goes Jeff Egan in the slot. Backhands it through. Mandeville had a chance there. To the far side. Picked up by Turhar. Turhar will send it ahead for Lessick. Lessick couldn't connect. It's back the other way. Back through it goes. Pejao. Over the far side. Quick shot. Lessick. Save made on the blocker. Round behind. Up in front. Fruchter takes the shot. No, it's off of a shin pad. And Mandeville will carry it now. Vecchio has his pocket picked as he got the blue line. Back the other way. Turhar takes the pass from O'Reilly. Turhar takes a shot. Blocker save. Lessick picks up what's left. Picked up by Egan now on the near side, but it's played off. O'Reilly had a chance. Teddy put it over the far side. Far side goes for Turhar. Puck bounces up and out of the zone. Smolev will get to it, but it's not in time. Garrett Pohl in his own zone will play it over the far side for Dan Vecchio, who will carry up ice now. He'll send it the length of the way in. It's going to be picked up by Austin Fruchter, who will swing through the neutral zone, avoiding Lovejoy. Fruchter stepping in. Lovejoy will knock him off the puck. Shields will step in as well. It's over the far side for David Guiney. Guiney had it caught up in his feet, but it's played off for Turhar. Turhar, their captain, is played up in front, reaching for it, and covers up his Fagerquist. A good effort there. 16:25 remains here in the second.
George Washington's starting to come alive here, John. Just a little bit. The second goal, they weren't happy with the call. They're trying to come back. They've had some, this is the most time they spent in the Patriots zone. So they got to try to capitalize on it if they're going to get it back in this game.
Well, and all it takes is a spark, and that's just it. If they can find a quick shot, I mean, that hit by Jurkovic might have done more than just draw a penalty. It might have lit a fire into these guys. Who knows? And it comes back the other way. David Guiney in behind the defense, but he can't get back to that puck in time. Centers it through for Poliot from point blank. It goes wide behind the net. Far side. Battling off it was Whiffen. Back up top now, Baker from center red. Drives back into the zone. Takes the shot. His stick was caught in the way in. Puck was caught in the way in. And that'll be smothered there by Neil Hirschman. George Mason University Hockey is sponsored by Glory Days Grill. Going out before the game, after the game, to go watch the big game? Then go to Glory Days Grill, the official sports restaurant of the George Mason University Patriots. Face-off won by the Patriots over the far side for Garrett Pohl. Battling for it, back behind the net. Chris Boyes doing the bulwark of that effort. Over the far side goes for Talbot. Round behind the net. Tony Cordova will play it over to Sevi. Sevi put it in front for Talbot, looking for the natural at that one, and it's up and out of play, up into the netting.
John, I don't know if we mentioned this earlier, but we did have a scratch player today on the Patriots side. Is Brian Bach got scratched today, number 9. He had a school thing to take care of. So instead, it's Andrew Nashin for today, number 6.
Face-off one and put towards the net, but just wide. And Pejao keeping it in for the second time. He goes cross-ice to Sevi Cordova to Tony. Oh, and it's gloved out of the air. What a save made by Hirschman.
Did that hit off the post and then jump in the air? Or?
I don't know, but either way, he swiped at it. It just swiped at it like a cat.
Our camera guy, the goalie guy, is like, nope, just backdoor pass.
He just batted it down like a kitty cat.
The force was strong with him that time.
He knew exactly where it was coming. That was impressive. 15-15 remains in the second. 2-0 your score in favor of George Mason. Pejao will take it off the faceoff win. Play to Talbot. He goes to the far side for Sevi Cordova. Down low to Tony Cordova on the far corner. Up to Garrett Pohl. Quick shot. Save made on the pad. Far side it goes for Tony Cordova. Up top to Garrett Pohl. To Pejao. Takes the shot. It went off of a player. That was John Grogan in front. Back now goes for Tony Cordova. Bouncing puck goes through. Quick shot from, that was Baker. Baker didn't get all of it. He's calling for another one. He wants another try. Pejao has it now. Takes the shot. Nice lofty one. He scores! Sevi Cordova picked up the rebound right in front, and he skied it top shelf.
That was a pretty shot. That was a pretty shot. And then, as a George Mason's got George Washington, their goalie. His name is Hirschman. He's going left and right. I mean, he is on his head spinning, and some beautiful saves, but that one he just couldn't. Same spot too. And
that's just it. It would be a true blowout at this point if it weren't for the efforts of Neil Hirschman. 14:30 remains here in the second. It's a 3-0 for the Patriots. Cleared in. Icing will be finally called. You know, that's probably the first time where
icing call, I think.
Yeah. Well, the goalie raised his hand, go boom, bang, go up, and then they stop, then start up. You know, icing the puck.
I'm speechless.
Well, and Denny Lemieux does that to most people. Played over the far side it goes for Chris Boyes. Up but out, and it's Nick Baker unable to hang on to it. Fagerkus will step up and stop it off, leave it off for Shields. Shields trying to corral that puck, plays it back behind for Baker. Baker trying to play it to Shields, it hops up and over a stick. Egan will play it, centering pass comes through for Dan Vecchio. Vecchio plays it over to Egan. He goes along the half boards, he drops it off there for Dan Vecchio. Unable to hang on, and is going to be taken away by the Colonials. It's round down that near side corner. Up and out. Baker will have it at center end, trying to avoid the danger of Tommy O'Connor. Baker still with that puck. Looks to the outside, takes the shot, rebound in front. Egan had it. Save made by Hirschman. He snaps down on it. Again, the kid stands on his head.
What the Patriots are doing here is they're doing a very good job of crossing the puck across the ice and getting him to move. I mean, I guess maybe they figured out that if they can get him going from post to post more often, then he'll be off his game. And it's what at least 2 of these goals have come from. He's, try to miss save, slide away out of position, and then, pop in the net.
Face off won by the Colonials, but Lovejoy mucking about down there will try and take it away. It is carried up ice by Austin Fruchter. Fruchter gets the outside, takes the shot. It's off a stick and up out of play. 14:03 remains here in the second. 3-0 your score.
Just little statistics. John, can you guess who has the most penalty minutes for the Patriots?
I would take a guess at someone like Joe Pouliot.
Answer to come soon.
All right. I'll throw the former Potomac Patriot under the bus because over on the far side.
That's just because we talked to him so much in the box last year.
Exactly. David Guiney, a quick shot, save in the glove, snatching out of the air, just picks it like a turnip.
And the crowd was not happy about that. They're screaming for a call there, but I don't really
see. There was a little bit of a hold behind the play. I imagine that's what they were looking at. I didn't see enough to warrant a call, but then again, depends on what colors you wear, I suppose.
All right, so you want to know the answer to my question?
I want to know the answer of who has the most PIMs.
This person, before today's game, was second in points.
Sevi Cordova?
Correct.
Sevi Cordova leading in PIMs. Who knew? Penalties in minutes. We'll have another puck out of play.
And I think with that, though, I think he's at least tied with his brother, if not has one more point ahead after so far today. But he's got the most penalty minutes for 16, but he's got 12 points. Second highest in the team.
Hard to argue with that. Far side now for Baker. Dangles around one man. Backhand effort through. He tried to find Connor Gear. Nothing doing. Baker's hungry. He wants a goal. Far side it goes for Jurkovic. Jurkovic gets it over the blue line, but he can't get much further. Slow balls it over to Baker, but it's up top now. Quick shot from Whiffen. Takes the shot, save made on the pad. Rebound in front. That second opportunity came from Nick Ryan. Far side, Edler puts a man to the boards.
Penalty.
And he's going to get called on that one. I think it's going to be a cross check. John Grogan went down before he even got there. Oh, they're going to call from hit from behind.
He knew it was coming.
Yeah, Grogan fell a bit quick on that one, and the hit was already started. So I think it was just bad timing.
You could have put money on it. Patriots have had the last couple times of power plays, so.
Yeah, referee always works to even it. Are they tossing them?
No, Edler's went in the wrong box. Wait a minute, no. There it is. There's the box. He couldn't find the other box. He went into the other team's penalty box. The linesman's like, no, over there.
He's going to be the adulation of his teammates. As it's played over the far side. That's not the first time that's happened. I think just this season someone did that. They went to the wrong penalty box.
He skated past it, too. He couldn't find the door.
As it goes over the far side, back to near. Quick shot, save, made on the stick. Back on the near side corner. Lesick will play it across. Quick shot, slow ball through, save made, and covered up. There was one instance, I was reading a story by Kevin McFarland, I believe it was. There was a player for the St. Louis Blues went in to the Boston Bruins bench. He just went in, sat down, and all the Bruins couldn't believe it. So they opened the door, they're like, oh yeah, and all of a sudden he just looks, and he leans over to another guy and goes, how am I going to get out of this? And everyone started laughing, and the Blues coach was not happy, let's put it that way.
He wanted to say hi to his friends on the other team.
As it's played back round over the near side, Jake Lessick will take it up top for Max Terhar. Over to the far side now it goes for Chris Boyes. It's Brian McFarland. Brian McFarland was the author. Over for Pejao. Pejao, shorthanded attempt here as he sets up on those far half boards, plays it through to Sevy Cordova. Bouncing puck off the skate into the stick, but not enough to put it in.
So close.
1 minute remains on the power play as we have it right in front, and Teddy O'Reilly couldn't make that last move count. Back on the near side. Top of the slot, it'll go for Boyes. To the near side for Terhar, takes a shot. Glove saved by Fagerquist.
Yeah, and George Washington's not happy with that. They're probably expecting a call there, maybe a little hook when the player was coming around the net, and George Mason got in the way. But this is actually the most we've seen George Washington actually pressure. I mean, they look hungry right now, being down 3-0.
I mean, they will not go quietly into this good night, at least not yet. It comes back on the near side. It goes for Luke Jurkovic.
Or afternoon, I guess.
It's a poem. I know it from back to school. If it wasn't for Rodney Dangerfield, I'd have no idea. Back through, quick shot. The shorthanded effort, the second one there. That was Dan Vecchio battling his way through. We're wasting some time. We're down to 30 seconds remaining on the man advantage for the Colonials. Back through it goes over for Chris Perugini, but he has his pocket picked and sent back the other way. 20 seconds remains. George Washington working the breakout from behind their own net for one final rush of this power play. Over to the far side it goes. Grogan will carry up ice. No, it's going to be lost. Grogan, can he get it back? Nope, he won't. Up and out. Austin Fruchter with it again. We're going to have five-a-side hockey as Edler rejoins his team. Over the far side, Fruchter will have it. Dangles again at the far point. He'll cough it up and he'll be sent up and out. Fruchter will retrieve it. 10 minutes and 50 seconds remains here in the second. 3-0 your score in favor of George Mason. Shields from behind his own net plays over the far side for Garrett Pohl. Up top for Fruchter, who'll steal it away, takes the shot high and wide. Bouncing puck, took an odd bounce back towards the cage. Egan will have it now. No one's going to lose it there for Nick Ryan. Over to the far side for Fruchter, takes a shot, save made on the pad. Egan drops it off for Mandeville. Mandeville beside him is Kevin McAllister, but they're going to whistle him off sides. McAllister a bit frustrated at that call. He does not appreciate it.
Not appreciate it. And Mason needed that, though. I mean, they spent a lot of time in their own zone. First time that George Washington's really had pressure in the Mason zone. Lindsay checking the door. Didn't look like it closed all the way, so just make sure that no one hits the board and falls in.
Yeah, that would be bad. You actually get very, very injured by that. Quick shot. No, it's going to be sailing wide. As back in that near side, Dylan Talbot. We're going to have a hand pass called. We'll have the face-off outside the zone, and it's going to be picked up there and sent over to the far side. Scooped up by Max Terhart. Overthrew for Chris Boyes. Boyes from the slot, hands it over to O'Connor. I'm sorry, that's O'Reilly. And it's cleared up and out as the stop made by Fagerquist. Clock not moving, it's a 10:08 as it's played through. A little bit of bonus hockey as clock's still not moving.
Penalty, too.
As goalie comes off, we're playing 6-on-5, waiting for the delayed penalty to be called. Clock's still not running, so we had just a full bonus shift here in the second.
That was longer than full bonus shift. Now that clock went to 2 seconds.
Probably went to stop it. We've been there. We've done that. Usually not that long, but hey.
Well, usually the bench, because we're between the benches on the other rink.
Yeah, someone will yell at us.
Yeah. Time!
Someone will yell.
And I think actually last week I figured out it wasn't yelling at me. That coach is like yelling time a lot. So I'm like, I'll be looking up and like, it's working. What do you want me? Oh, okay.
He's probably yelling to his players that they have time. They're just like yelling feet. It's not so much that they have feet. It's that the puck's in their feet. Or at their feet. Over the far side, quick shot, save made on the pad. Minute 50 remains on this man advantage as it's sent down ice, and David Guiney giving chase in behind the defense. Played off by Hirschman on the far side. A good play by the goaltender there. Back the other way it goes for Max Terhar, the captain, and a quick shot. Save made right on the top of the blocker. It's going to be held on there by Fagerquist. 1:38 remains on the power play.
Came out across his top of his crease to try to cut off some of the angle and just stood there strong like a wall, and it almost slipped over his right shoulder. I had to think for a second.
You got to watch that 6 hold. You know, it'll be sneaky. As it comes back through, played over by Lessick. Takes the shot, skitters wide off the pad save. Over the far side. Back through up top. Chris Boyes. Pitching and catching there with Jake Lessick. Now played to the near side for Terhar. Terhar from the near point. He has a minute 12. He gets to the top of the slot, takes the shot. Went off of a stick early on. And comes back through now for Pejao, who luffed it the length of the ice. A good clear there with a minute left. Behind the net, Guiney digging, mucking and grinding back down low. As it's pushed up ice. Shields will retrieve it away. Oh, a big hit after the fact. That came from Terhar. A little upset that he didn't get back to that puck. It goes back into the near corner of the George Washington zone. 38 seconds remains on the man advantage as it's played over the far side for Terhar. Terhar has been out there, I think, the whole time. He has got to be tired. And he plays his way through, and he stole a stick on the way. Pouliot was just, no, it's not me. I'm not holding him, I swear.
I wasn't that holding the stick there.
Goes back through for Baker. 10 seconds remain on the power play as it's retrieved behind the George Washington net. Played into the zone, stopped off by Shields. Power play expires. Nash taking an extra effort to make sure that door closed as it swung around behind the George Washington net. On the near side, Pouliot digs a man into the board. Teddy O'Reilly getting to know the dasher pretty well. Back down behind it goes for Vecchio. Jumping in will be Pouliot. He drops it off for Shields, takes the shot, and I think that went off of the back of Jeff Egan. Far side it goes, played up and out by Nick Ryan. Egan will get it right back, swings around back into the zone. Took shot, went off of the stick of John Grogan. From the corner, played over the far side corner. Now Jeff Egan will look to retrieve it up top for Shields. Takes the shot off for the blocker, up, and it stays in play. 7:20 remains here in the second. 3-0 George Mason. Carried up ice by Teddy O'Reilly. He sends it ahead. It's in for Nick Ryan, trying to center it through for Chris Perugini. The 11-12-13 line going here. As it played up but not out. It'll be intercepted by Sevi Cordova. Haven't seen the brothers Cordova in a bit. I guess they're getting a good rest and making sure no one gets hurt. We're going to have an offsides call here with just under 7 minutes to play in the second.
Why was 6 scared of 7?
Because 7, 8, 9?
Exactly. When you said the 11, 12, 13 line, that popped in my head.
I'm afraid of what pops in your head.
So am I.
Peixau will take it off the face-off win. Plays it over for Andrew Nash, who got a nice cross-check to the back, but no call. Played around along that near side. Cleared the length of the ice. We're going to have an icing call. Indeed we will. George Mason University Hockey, sponsored by Geico of Northern Virginia. Geico, where a 15-minute phone call can save you 15%. Call Agent Dave Stinson Sr. for a quote at 703-754-3555. 6:43 remains here in the second, and it's 3-0 George Mason. Face-off won by Tony Cordova. Goes back to Nash via Talbot. Talbot, who has 2 goals here on the night. As over the far side, on the morning, I suppose. As it's cleared over to the far side. Fagerquist will stop behind his net. No, he'll leave it off for Peixau. He sends it off the glass. It's kept in there by Matthew Whiffen. Puts it down low for Nick Ryan. Round behind that, put it in front. Quick shot came from Yurkovich. He had some room, but he sailed it wide. Over to the far side, picked up by Smolev. Quick shot, bouncing puck, went off of the mask of Will Edler. He'll carry up ice now. Fans on the shot. It's going to be stopped off there by Whiffen. Edler battles off the man and gets back to the puck. He'll center it through. Quick play by Gear. Shot, save made. Far side, Connor Gear will get it back. Takes the shot again. It went off of his stick, but stayed down on that high glass. Back now for Garrett Pohl. He'll send it round behind the net. Looking to retrieve it is Edler. Edler, again, launches into the man, taking the Darius Kasparaitis route. Comes back around to the near side. Garrett Pohl on the near side. Cleared up and out. Foot race there is Shields and Chris Perugini. Perugini will get there first. Bouncing puck, flutters, and making the Willie Mays catch will be Keith Fagerquist. They'll finally blow the whistle on it. 5:14 remains here in the second.
It's a late whistle there, John, on that glove save. It was pretty clear that he got it in his glove.
Well, there has to be someone around as well. You can't just smother the puck. There has to be a reason. So, I don't know if the referee saw Perugini as a threat at that point. He was. Didn't see him as it. Face-off won by George Washington. They'll take the shot. It goes over the far side boards. It goes for Teddy O'Reilly. Back over goes for John Grogan. Takes a shot. Save made on the pad. Up and out. 5 minutes remain here in the second. Back through it goes. Round over the near side for Garrett Pohl and Teddy O'Reilly. Pohl will come out the victor. Loses the mail on the way through. Picked up by Jake Lessick. Grabbed again by Pouliot.
The mail?
Yeah, it's a great way to substitute for the puck.
I like biscuit myself.
Well, you got to diversify.
I like food.
Back with the finances. It's diversification is the key. Over the far side, round behind it goes. Played in front. Guiney with the opportunity. Now Pouliot, he scores! Joe Pouliot takes the rebound and pops it in. It's 4-0 in favor of the George Mason Patriots here with 4:19 remaining in the second.
George Washington just looks like defeated already, and they still have another period to go. Before the goal and the one rush, George Mason came down there. It was a 2-on-2, but the 3 George Washington players back here weren't trying. If the Patriots weren't going on a change at that point, they could have easily had a 4, even 5-on-2 at that point, because their players were just kind of like, eh.
I mean, it takes a lot to keep fighting through these. We saw the other side of this just last week. It's all about heart, and you know what? It shows in moments like this. And George Washington just seems to be a little more deflated than we saw from George Mason last week. Over to the far side it goes for Sevi Cordova. Quick play in front. And back on the near side, Baker takes a shot. It's under the pad, and it's going to be covered up there. 3:55 remains.
He was trying to bat that. Did he think he was like playing in the World Series or something like that? I mean, it was above his shoulders, and he almost popped it in his own net.
Well, you know, he heard the theme from The Natural and just went at it, hoping to not take out a light in the process.
I mean, he might be upset that no D.C. Washington area teams in the World Series after they predicted it would be. But
Hey, that's a sore subject. Go O's. Back through for Baker at his own zone. Trying to force it ahead for Tony Cordova. Ball on the outside, takes the shot. It sails wide. Over the far side, Sevy Cordova can't get to it. Nash couldn't hold it in. Baker will go back to retrieve it. Coming through is Connor Varley of George Washington, trying to take it away. Puck sent the length of the ice. It's down behind the George Washington net as it's picked off there by Chris Boyes. Back through it goes along the near side. Richard Sire with it. 3 minutes left to play here in the second. It's 4-0. Baker ahead for Tony Cordova. Flipped into the zone. Forced in. It's going to be played off by Jurkovic. Jurkovic takes a shot. Pads. Save and a beaut.
He's hurt.
Back through it. Jurkovic is very slow to get up. He will skate off under his own power, though. Not very well, though. Back through it goes Tony Cordova. Sorry, that was Sevy Cordova in his own zone. Oh, sorry, in the enemy zone, excuse me. A little focused on Jurkovic getting off. Back through for Pohl. Takes the shot, and it's going to be gloved out. Reaching across the body was Hirschman.
Now he's trying to be the catcher now, too. At first he was the batter, now he's the catcher.
I mean, ever since we saw the Fagerquist with the Willie Mays catch, it just bloop, out of the air. You know, it's goalies just trying to out-baseball one another. Face-off won by the Colonials. That is scooped up and played ahead. Pejao will chase it down. We're going to have the icing call. No, it's going to be waved off there. Pejao behind his own net. 2:30 remains here in the second. Centering through, Mandeville will intercept the pass and will swing around behind his own net. Trying to play it ahead to Egan. That'll be played off for Matthew Whiffen. Whiffen over to Lessick, and now for O'Reilly in that far corner. He plays it up top. Sent off for Grogan. Over to Lessick, who throws off Garrett Pohl, and now has a second dangle, a third shot, save made, bottom of the blocker. O'Reilly puts it in front, quick shot, save made again, snapped out onto. Jake Lessick played that shift like a man possessed. He's got nothing left as he had a knee on the ice. Whew, he wanted it, he was hungry.
Oh, they're all hungry, they're all trying to do something. I mean, their bench is, I'm sorry to say, kind of dead at the moment.
And that's just it. This is where you get those players who usually wear a letter on their chest who are important to get team morale up, get a spark. I mean, I can only imagine the atmosphere in the locker room between periods because it's either going to be shouting at everybody or it's going to be dead quiet. Quick play up front again. That one from Lessick once more. He gets knocked down in the after effect as it's cleared up and out of the zone. 143.
First time I heard their bench scream when they were yelling no penalty there.
It's been a while since George Washington's bench has been a factor. Over the far side it goes for Baker. Pushing, I guess it says all the much more about George Mason pushing ahead and putting everything in this. No doubt about it, they have shut down George Washington. Far side, back through. Over on the far side it comes through now, David Guiney. Guiney dangles through, can he get back to it? He can't. But he plays it in front for Lovejoy, who can't get through to Baker. And Baker has wanted his goal all game long. Still won't get it, though. Baker waits for Guiney to tag up before taking it back into the zone, but he has his pocket pick taken away there by Zach Smolev. Back ahead again for Jake Lessick. Only man getting back his shields. He gets around. Looks like he's going to get the hooking call on the way in, but I think it was a good call to take. Back it goes now. We'll have Jurkovic back on the ice. We're going to have the whistle. Are we going to have a whistle for too many men on the ice? What is going on?
They're saying too many men.
Goalie wasn't to the bench when the guy came on.
Goalie wasn't to the bench when the other man came on, so the linesman whistling it dead. Will we have a call to negate the call immediately?
Doesn't look like it.
I think they're just going to blow the call dead.
They only have 4 out. George Washington's calling time, it looks like. Maybe? The player looked like he was signaling, but whatever.
Are they going to get it? I think they are. They are going to call the timeout here. In the box will be Aaron Shields, who made the good defensive effort to get back and get a hand around the player of Jake Lessick, who has been playing excellent this past few minutes.
This would never happen, but I would love to play a team that someone's last name is Hydra. Because Shield, Hydra.
Oh, my goodness. You know, every time he touches the puck, it'd be a whisper of, Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Because it's a secret.
Then
Yet
the other thing,
they all say it.
Baker is trying to put the biscuit in the oven. Trying to. You said he's been hungry all day to get the puck in the net. Biscuit.
Baker has been quite hungry to put the biscuit in the basket. Yeah. Yes, he has been. Oh, God, the puns. I never thought I'd be overloaded with puns, but.
He left for equipment reasons, and the rest saw him.
So Shields will not be in the box any longer. It's going to have the penalty, obviously, but he's in the locker room. Quick mention that George Mason University Hockey is sponsored by the Spine and Joint Institute, located in Fairfax, Virginia. They focus on family wellness, sports medicine, and your chiropractic needs. Call to book your appointment at 703-994-4874 and visit them online at sjinstitute.com for more details.
Let's see if the Patriots can keep that PK going up, keeping it perfect so far today.
Face-off won by George Mason. Played off for Danny Gassel, who will send it wide of the net. Nash on the far side. Can't corral that puck. He will manage to keep it in on the second effort there, but it's back the other way. Chris Boyes. No, I'm sorry, that's Lessick. I should have known. Over to the far side for O'Reilly. O'Reilly on the far side off the pass from Lessick. Drops it back there for Boyes. Boyes takes his shot. It heads off a stick on the way in. 1:30 remains on the Colonial power play. After that first rush, I forgot who was on the man advantage. Oh, puck hits the post as it took a funky bounce off a stick, and Fagerquist was moving the wrong direction.
Little luck there.
Puck luck never hurt anybody. It's over the far side now for Teddy O'Reilly, and that's how we're going to end the period. I didn't even realize we had gotten that down low in it, but there was only 43 seconds, I suppose, and that's going to end the period of play.
The goal horn sounds like one of those airsoft guns at carnivals.
This is why we don't do morning games. You need more sleep. I need more sleep.
Yeah, we all need more sleep. We were up too late.
I'm going to go take a nap. All right. We're going to have the intermission report. Real quick here is minute 13 will remain on the power play for the Colonials at the start of the third. I'm John Baranowski. He's Phillip Prevost. Will join us for the intermission report right after this. John Baranowski here with Phillip Prevost for the second intermission report. Well, I said last time that it had to be 4-0 by the end of this period, and it's 4-0 at the end of this period.
Yeah, I mean, what, me? Oh, I thought you were telling me.
I'm brushing my shoulders off at being so correct.
Yeah. Don't get too high on yourself there, man. Okay, bring you down a step.
I like my view from up here on the podium. That's my pedestal.
Maybe you'll still be as tall as me then.
Oh.
But anyways, yeah, all cylinders go. Mason has kept the foot on the pedal. All systems go. Compared to what they looked like last week against Christopher Newport, they are looking spectacular today.
It's true, and they need to keep on rolling because, like I said, if you play soft against teams that you are pushing around, that's when bad things happen. That's when injuries happen. That's when the kind of plays that end up getting people suspended happen. You have to play hard 100% of the time. As the old NHL Network commercial, you have to give 100%, 100% of the time. You're not giving 100%, you give 50%, 100% of the time, you're going to be in a heap of trouble. You have to be 100%, 100% of the time.
I had something to say, but I lost it because you're
that's why you're just not thinking 100%, 100% of the time. That's going to leave you in a whole heap of trouble.
What I say is you got to keep playing tough, but you got to play smart. You don't want to get too confident in yourself and become arrogant and start taking stupid penalties, which we have seen a couple times this year with people taking unwanted penalties, and other teams have capitalized on it. You don't want to get George Washington back into this game. You want to keep him down as if, keeping foot on the throat and kind of pressing on it, just suffocating, not crushing, but suffocating.
Right. You don't. I mean, there's something to be said for sportsmanship. I mean, again, it's only 4-0, so we're not talking about that. Oh, it's a blow off, and they should ease off. No, absolutely not. However, we're not saying to go and try and be ridiculous with this. Play your game. That's all George Mason has to do. After a loss to Christopher Newport, like the way they lost it, to just come in here, play your game, and see success from it is probably the best thing they need. The ultimate salve on the ego of George Mason to try and get them back and say, hey, we are a good hockey team. We're playing a much tougher schedule. We're going to get those licks every so often. You just got to keep going. Meanwhile, George Washington, I mean, they keep trying to put something into it, but we haven't seen any success from that yet. I mean, we saw with Luke Yurkovich, who was off on an injury and managed to come back. Unbelievable play from Jake Lessick. It's just been all over. Had, I think, 4 shots in the last 4 minutes. All of them impressive.
And those are the players that you got to meet. Those are your leaders. You got to keep it going. They're saying we're not done. We got to keep playing. What I was looking for is I wanted to see what George Washington played last week. They won last week against the Blue Devils. Can't even see it.
Duke?
Yeah, according to this,
Duke.
They played Duke. They won 6-5 against Duke. So, I mean, the worst team to play is a team that has been embarrassed the week before. The Patriots were embarrassed the week before. So, I mean, that could be some of the side effect here. But, I mean, just got to keep it going.
I would like to see a 6-0 score by the end of this game. We'll see if that can hold up. Again, it's one of those things where you keep playing your game, you keep doing what's effective, and you go from there. They don't have to go and kill themselves, but you can't let up.
I'm seeing at least one more goal from George Mason. I don't know. I can see 2. But, I mean, hey, I've been wrong. It happens once in a while. We'll see where it takes us.
All right, well, I guess it's going to wrap it up for us. We'll send you the drop of the puck and the rest of the action right after this. Welcome back, sports fans. John Baranowski here with Phillip Prevost as the third period of play about to get underway. George Mason will be on the penalty kill for minute 13 as the opening faceoff won by Joe Pouliot, but it's going to be lost quickly over there to Richard Sire. Pouliot swinging it round over to the far side and went off of Jake Lessick, intercepted there by Guiney. Minute remains on the power play as it goes over for Guiney. Quick shot, sails it wide, short-handed. Pole, stop it on the near side. Over to the far side, Guiney trying to reach in for it. Battling for it down in the near corner. Round over to that near side. Battling for it still is Richard Sire. Over now, Baker will take it. Up and out. 30 seconds remains on the man advantage for the Colonials. Carrying up ice is Max Terhar. Terhar will get into the zone. Toe drag, quick shot. He scores! He'll get that power play goal on a glove-high effort. It's 4-1 here with 19:08 remaining in the third.
Well, excuse me, if you're George Washington, that's how you want to come out for this period. 4-1, plenty of time. Mason's got to make sure they stay strong.
And this is one of those situations where George Mason is just going to have to answer back as quickly as they can, that's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Face-off won by the Patriots. Play along the near side for Sevi Cordova, and now for Pejao. Over to that far side, it gets caught up in the linesman, and will be put up by Whiffen, caught in the linesman again. Picked up there by Sevi Cordova. Whiffen will whiff on the shot. Been waiting to say that all day. Comes through now, quick shot from Tony Cordova. Hits off of a shin pad. Nash trying to get it on it. It's back the other way. 3-on-1. Carrying it with it. Perugini, quick shot. Rebound, he score! Chris Boyes takes the rebound and puts it into the back of the net. It's 4-2. And we're going to have a timeout called by George Mason. They have to stem the bleeding now. 18:37. Just 30 seconds between goals. It's all a 2-goal contest.
I want to yell at you for right now, actually, but I don't know what to yell at you for. I blame you. And we have someone go in the box.
Sevi Cordova coming to the box. Nope. Don't know what the call is. The referee was very adamant that, yes, they called a timeout.
The referee just said there was a timeout. Timeout's been gone for a good... a game misconduct.
I mean, the speculation is on sportsmanlike conduct, but I don't know. Face-off won by George Washington. They will have another power play. They have scored 2 in the past 30 seconds. We said you had to keep forcing your way ahead. Well, that's just it. George Washington is still too close in this game. It's time to pour it on.
That's a whole different game now, John.
Garrett pulls under the length of the ice. It's going to be stopped off by Hirschman behind his own net. He'll leave it off for Max Terhaar. Terhaar ahead for Lessig. The surprising thing is I don't believe Lessig had any of those goals. Round, he goes for Fruchter on the outside. Swings round behind the net. Surveys his options as Shields puts a lot of pressure on. Pulls him off the puck, but stepping in there will be Richard Sire. Back up top, it goes for Terhaar. Terhaar to the near side for Lessig. Minute 10 remains on the power play. It's 4-2, George Mason. The slap shot, rings post. Second effort, save made. That shot came from Terhaar, that one that rang the post. Comes up, and no, it's not out. It's kept in by Fruchter. Far side for Lessig, takes the shot. Save made, Fagerquist rebound, it's on the line. Diving after it and push out. We're going to have a penalty shot as the player, that's Pouliot, dove on it in the crease, and then he put his hand on it to slap it out. Rather than just slapping it away with a stick, he dove on it, and no, you cannot do that. We will have a penalty shot for George Washington.
Wow, just wow. Yeah, and he had a post right before that too. I mean,
this is not the turn of events I expected to open up this period.
And if you look at the Washington bench over there, they're smiling now.
Well, I mean, they're right
up.
back in it. That's just it. 17:25 remains here in the third. 4-2 your score. We have a penalty shot for a hand covering the puck in the crease. It's going to be taken by the captain, Max Terhaar, the man who just rang post. Terhaar gets to the puck, swings over to the far side. Working now at the top of the circle, looks for a shot, he scores! 3.5 minutes in, and we're at a 1-goal differential. Sevi Cordova comes out of the box, but that's not it. It wasn't a power play goal, it was a penalty shot. So they will still have 48 seconds on the man advantage. This was George Mason's to lose, and it is slipping away in the early minutes here of the third. Incredible. Absolutely incredible turn of events.
Yeah, just incredible. And
I can only imagine what that locker room must have been like to spark this.
Not what we were expecting, probably.
No, most likely not. Face-off won by George Mason. It was cleared out by Baker. There's still 40 seconds of power play left for the Colonials. Over on the far side, picked up by Max Terhaar, who just scored on the penalty shot. Dangles, looks for the shot, sails high and wide. Back on the near side it goes. Fruchter to Lessig, shot save made on the pad. Rebound comes to the near side, it's going to be picked up by O'Reilly. Shot in front, goes off of somebody. Back up top it goes for Fruchter. It's played ahead by Tony Cordova. Can he win that foot race against Terhaar? He can't. Lost an edge on his way in. Back it goes, Terhaar again. To the outside, dangling for Lessig, save made on the blocker! Lessig gets it back as Sevi Cordova back on the ice. We're going to have the puck frozen with 16:34 remains. Puck out of play, 4-3 in favor of George Mason.
And that's the best situation you could have had there, just to stop that, get that puck out of play, and just regroup a little bit, because they're free falling at the moment.
Over and around, swings around behind the net, over the near side. Garrett Pohl retrieving that puck. David Guiney trying to get there, but no such luck. Jurkovic trying to get to it. Fanning on that shot was Perugini, as it's just a bottleneck here on the near side. It goes down low. Perugini trying to get back to it. Lovejoy poke checks it away. On the near side is carried by Nick Ryan. Ryan will leave it off for Perugini. All on the near side half board. Centering pass intercepted by Pouliot. Pouliot will carry it ahead. He has Guiney ahead of him. And he goes to Lovejoy. Swinging through, quick shot, save made, covered up there by Hirschman. 15:54 remains, 4-3 your score.
Is that like the first shot for the Patriots in this period?
I believe, no, there was a shorthanded effort early on.
Okay. So
it's second shot, most likely.
But with 4 minutes and 6 seconds gone in this third, I mean, most of the time's been spent in the Masons' territory here.
Face-off won by George Mason. Played off Pouliot, couldn't get a handle on it. A little bit of slash. We'll get Pouliot the puck back. Can he hang on? No, it skitters off his stick, but it comes right back to him. Hit off of Baker and out into center ice. Shields. He's reaching down deep to try and get back to that one. Has played along that far side. Kept in by Sire. Centering pass intercepted. He played ahead by Baker and up and out of the zone, but it's going to be played off by Grogan from his own blue line. Also went up, and it just barely stays in play. Baker. Forcing it ahead. Guiney couldn't get a handle on it. Goes over for Fruchter. Bouncing puck played in by Egan. Swings around behind the net and over to the near side now. Pushed ahead. Picked off there by Dan Vecchio. Played back into the zone. Fruchter will pick it up. Vecchio trying to get to it. Mandeville with the second effort there. Looks, dangles, can't get the shot. Fruchter will get it back. Fruchter takes the slapper well wide of the net. It's going to be scooped up there by Max Grossman on the far side. Centering play through for Zach Smolev. Smolev didn't hang on long. It's now for Pejao. Pejao on the outside. Centers it through for Mandeville. Mandeville can't get a handle on it. Round behind. Mandeville. Trying to work the toe drag, but nothing doing. Vecchio with that puck in the corner. He gets pushed into the boards. Bouncing puck, Vecchio ended up stepping on the puck. 14 minutes remains here. 4-3, George Mason. Pejao. Cleared up and out. Garrett Pohl reaching into the near corner of his own zone, trying to get through. No, it's played through. Terhar with the shot. Save made. Second shot. Pejao was in there twice to get in the way. It goes up top now, picked up by Boys. Boys to the near side for Smolev. Quick shot. Pad save. Picked up in front by Lessick. Lessick centering through for Terhar. Save made on the pad. Far side Egan. Can he get it up and out? No, it's kept in. Quick shot from Boys. Played away again. Forced ahead. Now we'll have Jeff Egan. One-on-one with Smolev. Smolev will take it off of him. To the near side. Corner it goes from Boys. Played off by Baker. 13:23 remains here in the third.
George Mason was trying those cross-ice feeds anymore. They're not working right now.
That's just it. We have momentum means everything in hockey. As it comes back through again, it's picked off. Now Sevi Cordova will have it. Sevi Cordova, a little bit of room on the outside. Dangles around Grogan. Looks, poke check by the goalie. Hirschman made the most of that one. To the near side it goes for Lessick. Lessick loses it to the blue line. Baker will take it back. Baker takes the shot. Oh, an awkward save, but he'll cover up. Hirschman had it again. 12:46 remains in the third.
Now, George Washington, they must have either had film or something between the periods, because they're answering what they were making mistakes on in the first and second. I mean, this is not the same team that Mason faced in the first and second period.
Well, I suppose we should know, with a name like George Washington, never count them out.
I
mean, it's true. The man could have lost the war too many times, and somehow he came out every single time. He single-handedly started the French and Indian War. What do you want? Well, a place called Jumonville Glen.
More people like that in the world?
With Fort Necessity. Well, do you want the French or the British to fight? We don't want that anymore. Back now comes for Pohl. Cordova.
We're all friends now.
Centers through for Tony Cordova. Has his pocket picked. Just too many players to get through. Pejao again. Bouncing that puck through into the near side corner. Over that far boards, quick shot came well wide of the net. More of a clearing effort than anything. As played along those far side boards, it's going to be stopped by Baker at the blue line. Baker gets tripped up, not going to get the call he wants. Baker looking for it again, trying to get around the other 19 of John Grogan. Ahead for Lovejoy. Lovejoy tees it up, shot, save made between the wickets. The score remains 4-3 Patriots.
Well, it kind of settled down now, John. We're not as much, all George Washington's kind of even now, and hopefully it looks like Mason's trying to push back right now, and let's see if they can get one in the bucket.
The hot streak of George Washington at an end, and the panic mode of George Mason also fading away. And it's played behind the net, Guiney with it. Staying out of the penalty box, certainly helping thus far. Back up top it goes for Shields. Save made by a defenseman as it played through. Guiney trying to take it away from Richard Sire, nothing doing. Lovejoy pushed it over for Pouliot. Pouliot swings around the outside. Trying to play right in front with a wraparound effort, nothing doing. Lovejoy back to Pouliot from one knee, plays it up to Baker near point. Takes the shot off of Smolev and is back the other way. Pass just a bit too far. Shields digging deep for it as the icing waved off. O'Connor got to it first. Leave it off for Connor Varley. To the far side now. Varley will get back to it. Lovejoy puts him into the boards. O'Connor will take it from there. Ooh, a big hit, a little bit of an elbow coming up from Richard Sire, but it comes back around to the near side boards. Guiney digging for it, puts it ahead. Stopped off by Smolev. Over to the far side now for Chris Boyes. Puts man into the boards. Lovejoy will pick it up. Long toss down the ice, trying to find Vecchio. Chips it into the near side corner. Vecchio battling to it against Whiffen. Mandeville will join the fray, as will Chris Boyes. Boyes will come out the victor, but it pops out to Egan. Puts a slow one on that, stick to side. Pohl will have it on the far side. 10 minutes remain here in the third. 4-3 George Mason. Lessick with it. Shot, save made, is somewhere in the paraphernalia, and Fagerquist is going to hang on to that one. 9:55 remains here in the third.
Fagerquist needs to just keep standing strong because right now he's the best George Mason player out there on the ice.
Pohl will take it off the face-off win. Swings around behind his own net and over to the far side. Bouncing puck ahead for Egan. Egan has just Whiffen beside him. Look, shot, save made. The rebound picked up by Vecchio. Just not enough on it. We'll have a delayed penalty call. It's going to be a trip on whom?
It's going to be on George Washington, number 2. Matthew Whiffen.
Whiffen in the box for a trip.
There's no Whiffen there.
And he did whiff on one puck. I got to use that pun once so far.
There's just some names. If I had a last name like that as a hockey player, I would just change my name.
No, you got to embrace it. I love a good name like that. Baker, quick shot, save in off the rebound. Shot from Cordova and wide. Tony Cordova with it now. Sevy from behind the net goes over to the far side, leave it off for Talbot. Talbot, quick shot, sent wide. Of course, Cordova to Talbot. Shot, went off of a player. Baker retreating back to get it. He noticed Max Terhar was cheating his way back, looking for the shorthanded tally. Baker dangles his way through. On those far boards, bounces off for Sevy Cordova. Over to Mandeville. Quick shot off the rebound. Bouncing puck. Plays off from Tony Cordova. And over to the far side, it goes up top for Dylan Talbot, who got the first 2 on the game. Quick shot, bouncing puck straight in the air, knocked down. Terhar will play it up and out on a good clear. We have a minute remaining on Patriot power play.
That was kind of play with the stick there, John. I don't know why the referee didn't call it.
Baker will set it up ahead for Talbot. Leaves it off for Sevi Cordova. No, Talbot will keep it. Puts it back to Baker. Baker will put it to Cordova. Down low to Tony. To Sevi. Puts it in front. Trying to find Talbot again. They worked that power play all early game. Nothing new. And now Smolev off to the races if he can get to it. No, I'm sorry. That's Yurkovich. Yurkovich shot. Save made. We're going to get a penalty call. Rebound in front. The play not over. Finally, we'll get that whistle. Are they calling a penalty shot? They are. They're going to say Yurkovich had a stride ahead, and he was tripped up. I didn't think that warranted a call. Maybe 2 minutes.
I think maybe 2 minutes.
Oh, they're saying throwing the stick. Huh.
Coach Hychek is not happy.
Well, I mean, throwing the stick is not something you see often. I mean, that's, yeah, it is a penalty shot if that's what happened, but sticks get loose.
I kind of think Fagerquist could have actually, came up and actually shot that puck away. There was enough distance, I feel, that he could have tried to.
Well, I mean, it's a risk, and I guess Fagerquist isn't.
It's a risk, and right now he might just want to make sure I'm staying in my home. It's not time to risk leaving.
It's not time to Marc-Andre Fleury this.
And I'll just do my little pirouette in the corner.
Well, we'll have our second penalty shot of the day.
I don't think I've seen a game with 2 penalty shots.
No, not one that I remember. Luke Yurkovich wearing the 8 sweater here in the Capitals practice barn. Luke Yurkovich against Keith Fagerquist, the second penalty shot of the day. The first by Max Terhar was a goal that made it 4-3. The tying goal on his stick, it comes for Yurkovich. Yurkovich comes to the near side, looks, dangles, and he lost it on the way in. Fagerquist didn't even have to make the save. He just stood there intimidatingly.
Yeah, I mean, what was it, number 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yurkovich just pushed it wide. I mean, it just rolled off his stick and just. Then at the end, he slapped the stick on the boards. Wasn't happy with that, but still 4-3 in favor of the George Mason Patriots.
Face-off won by the Patriots. There is still 18 seconds of power play for the Patriots because Sevi Cordova gets past the man, gets it into that near side corner. From the pizza slice, can't seem to make it happen. Back through it goes for Baker. Baker, bouncing puck ahead off of Tony Cordova's knee, but it's played wide. Back to the near side, up and out for Teddy O'Reilly, and we have 5-a-side hockey here with 7 minutes and 33 seconds to play. Along the near side, played ahead for Nick Baker. Baker to Tony Cordova. Along the outside. Tony Cordova still with it. Back in front for Mandeville. Now to Pole. Quick shot. Goalie without his stick as it's over to the far side. Smolev with it. Over the far side goes for Terhar. Terhar, the dangerous captain. As it's played back now, Pejao will look to backhand it out, but he doesn't have enough on it. Terhar from the corner, lost it, played over now. Pole on the far side. Long toss ahead to Sevi Cordova. Sevi tried to dangle, got pushed off the biscuit by Fruchter. Lovejoy from center red, waits for everyone to tag up, dangles his way ahead. Pushing it through, battle there at the top of the slot. Sevi Cordova will come back to help. His stick called up, and we're going to get the appropriate penalty called there. Going to be a hook. Probably should have been holding the stick. 2 minutes is 2 minutes.
2 minutes is 2 minutes. It's number 5. Fruster.
6:34 remains here in the third. 4-3 your score in favor of George Mason.
It looks like it caught Sevi under the bucket a little bit, too. His neck kind of went back a little bit.
Well, there's no doubt about it that his stick went flying into the air whenever it shouldn't have. Pouliot off the face-off win will play it off to Baker. Baker sends it across. Bouncing puck corralled by Talbot. Down low, Guiney will leave it off for Pouliot. Plays it in front. Kept in by Baker. Reaching down with a glove. Takes the slapper, went off of David Guiney's stick. Over now for Talbot. Minute 38 remains on the power play. Down low. From Guiney over to Pouliot. Pouliot surveys his options, doesn't see any. Back down low to Guiney.
That's off.
The net is off, and Neil Hirschman was very emphatic of, look, it's off!
It was off, and no one was catching it, so he's like,
do you see? Minute 28 remains here on the man advantage for the Patriots. 6:02 in the game, or at least regulation. 4-3 your score in favor of George Mason.
Why is everyone always picking on me, you know? Why won't anyone just listen to me? This is saying.
I'm saying the net's off. That's all I should have to say.
I know he's not talking about the Capitals player.
Cordova. Down low for Tony Cordova in front. Oh, and a big save there. Kicking out his feet to make it. Sevy Cordova racing back to get it. Nothing doing. It's played in. Jurkovic pocket picked by Baker. And now we have a 4-on-2 the other way. Baker across. Couldn't make the pass to anyone. Mandeville left it go, as did Talbot. Sevy Cordova at center red. Waits for people to tag up. They do. Into the far side. Trying to put it across the ice. Nothing doing. He's knocked down a second time. Now to Baker. Baker can't corral it. He gets the handle now. He puts it off to Tony Cordova. Down low. Quick shot. Rebound, Sevy. Off the pad. 2 or 3 shots from point blank range. 40 seconds remains on the man advantage.
Baker is not happy. He is chirping at the referee right now. Probably something he felt that something should have been called.
Face off. One over to Sevy Cordova. No, it's going to be picked away there by John Grogan. Sevy Cordova will get it back and play it up to Baker. Quick shot. Just sails a bit wide. Might have hit the goalie on the way in. Sevy Cordova over to Tony. Now to Sevy. It's taken away there by Turhar. Baker racing to get back. 2-on-1 developing. Turhar will put it across. Diving effort by Mandeville. Will send that pass wide. 13 seconds of power play remains. Back through it goes up to the near side. John Grogan will put it across for Smolev. He sends it in. 4 seconds now. Lots of pressure on from Teddy O'Reilly as it played to the near side. Pushed ahead, Tony Cordova in enemy territory. He gets knocked into the boards. Going in for it will be Pouliot. Tony Cordova. Over for Pejao, top of the slot. He tees it up. Sails wide. A blistering shot at that. Pouliot from the corner. So he's in front. Sevy Cordova didn't know it was coming. Back the way now for Turhar. Turhar cross ice for Lessig. Lessig looks shot. Sails wide as well. 4 minutes remain in regulation. 4-3 your score in favor of the Patriots. Back through it goes now on the near side corner. Sevy Cordova battling for it. Lessig couldn't get a handle on it, not for long. Tony Cordova will retrieve it. Lofted ahead looking for the junior A dump as it goes ahead for Sevy Cordova 1-on-1. He bides his time. He does Pouliot now. Takes the easy pass through and not going to connect it. Battling from behind the net. Backhand effort just a bit wide. Pouliot trying to get his way back there. Lots of resistance on the way in. Ahead now, Chris Boys. 3:25 remains. 1 goal lead for George Mason. Side it goes for Lessig. For Boys. Shot, save made. Rebound wide! And it reaching out. Oh, Fagerquist reached out and touched base, and he managed to cover that one up underneath the pad. 3:14 remains here in the third.
George, the crowd here is actually still staying in it. They were very quiet for the first 2, but now they're trying to get there.
Well, I mean, I think we were pretty down on George Washington too in the first 2 periods. I mean, George Mason was pushing them around. They looked defeated, and
not so much anymore. I mean,
how things can change. Face-off 1. Baker trying to take it off from Jurkovic now. Up top for Fruchter. Takes the shot just a bit wide. Over the far side. Played ahead from Egan now to Guiney. 3 minutes remain. Guiney trying to force it ahead. Gets around Smolev. From the corner. Working into Lovejoy. Can he get it there? He won't. But is back from that corner down to the near side for Egan. Round behind for Guiney. Ahead from Egan now to Baker. 2:40 remains. Played in front, off of a stick. Baker trying to get back to it. Jurkovic diving effort, unsuccessful. Thanks to Egan, it goes to Lovejoy in the corner. Round behind it goes for Perugini. Over to the far side, kept in by Shields. Puck stopped by Smolev. Bouncing effort. Jurkovic will get to it. 2:20 remains here in the third. Egan on the far side. To the near boards for Baker. Ahead for Shields. Long toss on to Vecchio. Can't get a handle on it. Racing in after it. Boys will get there first, and he will come away with the biscuit. Far side. Perugini. Sails it across Vecchio. He lost his stick in the process, and he was ready to kick it ahead, but nothing doing. Shot on. Saved by Hirschman. He'll leave it beside. 1:50 remains here in the third. You have to start wondering when Hirschman will come off. Gloved out of the air by Terhar, stealing it from Vecchio. Terhar, quick shot, sails wide. Now to the near side it goes. Picked up by O'Reilly. We're going to have a whistle.
I didn't see anything.
That was the puck out of play, bouncing puck. Trying to focus with all of these moments going on. A power play now could change the game.
You look at me, I'm like, I didn't see it. The referee didn't. I'm making sure I'm paying attention to the referee signals, thank you. Not like our fiasco we had last weekend.
Well, it happens. Minute 36 remains here in the regulation. 4-3, George Mason. Puck cleared, we're going to have an icing call. And that matters because in the ACHA, just like the NHL, you can't change your lines on an icing call.
Thanks for that tidbit, John.
You didn't know that, did you?
I probably just assumed. It's not like something I would have said
It's
they
still
usually
new.
follow.
It's only, what, 6 years now? 7? Since the lockout. Well, the ACHA
05.
was a year after that. So,
If it was 05, it's almost 10.
in the grand scheme of things, a drop in the bucket. As it's played now, George Mason with it. Dylan Talbot will play it round the horn. Neil Hirschman will stop it behind his own net. 1:20 remains in regulation. Matthew Whiffen working the breakout. Pressure on from Talbot. Pushed ahead, but is stolen away by Tony Cordova, who will put the dump in, but it won't get too far. It's played back by Terhar. Taken right back by Talbot. 1 minute remaining in the period. Back around. We're going to have an icing call. It's waved off immediately. Boys will get there first. Tony Cordova diving to try and make it. 50 seconds remains. Whiffen. As Tony Cordova will steal it back. Tony and Sevi, 2-on-1. Quick shot, glove save, held onto by Hirschman. 40.5 seconds left in regulation, and it looked like George Washington moving a bit slow in these last minutes.
Yeah, and I actually am kind of wondering why they had some pressure in Mason's zone around the 112, 114 mark, and they didn't pull the goalie. I mean, it's a good thing because he just came right back, but you got to pull him sometime to give your guys a chance.
We'll see if they pour on the pressure now as they're trying to methodically work the breakout. Forced ahead for Lessick. Lessick redoubles. He's put back to the near side, finds O'Reilly. Centering for Terhar. Sticked away by Baker. 22 seconds remaining. It's from the near corner. Terhar centering pass. Pile up in front. Looks like I-95 in the slot. It's over to the far side. Lessick, quick shot. It got caught up in a body. Lessick with it still. 10 seconds remain. Picked up by Tony Cordova. Terhar trying to take it from him. 4 seconds. It's over the far side, bouncing puck out, and George Mason will come out the winner of this contest by the skin of their teeth. 4-3, your final score. We certainly thought it'd be a blowout, but no. George Washington made that interesting.
Wow. That was a nail biter there for the third period, John.
Whew. Whew. Well, I'm sure we'll have some interviews for you. We'll definitely have post-game coverage. Probably do the post-game show and then wait for interviews as we typically do following a win. I can't imagine these boys wouldn't want to share some thoughts. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. I'm John Baranowski. With me is Phillip Prevost. Join us for the post-game report right after this. John Baranowski here with Phillip Prevost for the post-game report. 4-3 your final score. I was saying 6-0. You thought, oh, maybe another goal for George Mason. None of us saw that coming.
You jinxed it.
Maybe I did, but hey, I got that second period right on, didn't I?
Yeah, well, what matters is
Well, I suppose, yeah. Well, clearly in that locker room, George Washington had an incredible moment. I hear that too. All right, well, I'll lower my microphone. Why are we getting so much interference on this? Well, as I attempt to fiddle with things, we'll see if we can. All right, well, I apologize for technical difficulties. We warned you, and we've actually done pretty well thus far. So if that's all the problems we've had, I'll take it. All right. Anyways, in that locker room for George Washington must have been one of those key moments, and I'll reach back into my history repertoire here. Following the Revolutionary War, the soldiers of the Continental Army were unpaid, and they were ready to actually storm the Capitol and overthrow the new government. George Washington came in as the first president, and he is trying to read a speech, and he realizes that he just can't read it, so he pulls out a set of spectacles, just pulls out a pair of glasses and goes, "I apologize, for I have grown old in service of my country." And he puts on the glasses, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house. It ended immediately. All of those men had suddenly realized what George Washington had given for the country and what they were trying to do to take it away, and they could not do it. It must have been a moment unbelievable like that. I can only imagine what was said to spark that, because in the first 30 seconds, the first goal came at 1908, the second was 1835. And by 17:30, we had a 3 goals up on the board. Ridiculous turn of events, and George Washington made a real game of it.
Yeah, and I think one of the first 2 goals that George Washington had was a little bit of a lucky bounce, but that's all you need. And they came going, and I think what happened really was Mason came out, and they were all happy and smiling. And I don't want to say that maybe it was too much, but sometimes you see teams that come out, look at, for example, Steelers versus the Browns, game 1, they were up 28-3 at halftime. They're coming out, and the Browns came back and tied it, and they got lucky and won that game with a field goal. They got blown out a couple weeks later, but sometimes if you're too confident, and I said this, if you're too confident, that's sometimes a bad equation. And I think maybe they had a little bit. They came in like, oh, we're going to finish it, and let it go.
I think it was a perfect storm of overconfidence on George Mason and a ridiculous amount of pumped confidence on George Washington. And this is a rivalry game. It's the colonial rivalry, and it matters. And so they stepped up, and between the two, they made 3 goals out of it in 3 minutes.
Right. And but you have to give the Masons credit. They stuck out. They held their ground. We had 2 penalty shots. One was a goal, and the one he kind of
he lost it going wide.
Going wide, but we hardly ever see that. I mean, George Washington had opportunities, and after that, the third goal, they hunkered in. The coach took a timeout. Got their head straight, and it was a rough game. Washington came out, and they did not play like they did in the first 2. They did not look like the David versus Goliath kind of mentality that I was thinking of. They looked bigger than they really were.
And they played bigger than they really were, and they really came out and battled that third period. And you know what? Even in a 4-3 contest, in a game where 7 goals were scored, it was still a goaltending battle. There must have been a good 50 shots on Hirschman, and 4 goals against, and then Fagerquist had to face at least 35, including 2 penalty shots. So, it was a good game, and George Mason managed to not only dominate the first 2 periods, which is important, but they managed to hang on in the third. And though they didn't score another goal, they did manage to hold on when it mattered and finished it 4-3.
And that's what it takes to be a good team. You keep leads, you hold leads, you can't. We just gave up 3 goals in 3.5 minutes. We're done. They have the momentum. No, you buckle down and you fight, and that's what they did. That separates good teams from great teams. So they were, a great team, today. They had mistakes. Every team's gonna make mistakes, but they were able to correct them. And give George Washington a lot of credit. The adjustment, like you said, made in the second intermission. It had to be something, or they, put some Red Bull in their coffee or something like that, or just, maybe they were given Red Bull, they gave them wings, and they were just flying all over the ice,
Well, that can't happen anymore. There's a lawsuit that said they can't give you wings.
They can't give you wings?
They can't give you wings.
Did they really stop that?
You can get $10 worth of anyways. News. Anyway, okay. Well, I guess it's going to wrap it up for us. We're obviously ranting and raving at this point. A fantastic finish to what turned out to be a really great game. I mean, it was great to watch George Mason be so powerful in the first two. I'm sure if you're a George Washington fan, you might have tuned out. But that third period was a nail-biter and totally worth it.
That's why you never leave a game early.
It's so true.
You never know what's going to happen.
I can't top that.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
And on that note, we'll send you to interviews. We're going to have a couple for you coming up, so stay tuned. Those boys have to get changed and come up here because we are not mobile just yet. We'll figure that out eventually. So we're going to have interviews. Stay tuned if you're interested. With that, I'm going to say I'm John Baranowski and he's Phillip Prevost. We'll join you back here for some interviews, and if not, good night.
Hi, sports fans. This is Phillip Prevost here, and I'm here with Keith Fagerquist, the goalie of today's victory over the George Washington Colonials. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. The first question is, why is your number 13? We're just curious because we've seen a lot of goalies, and usually 13 is a number that most people won't touch, not even in hockey. Yeah. So is there a reason behind it?
I mean, I try not to be too superstitious as a player, and maybe if anything, it's bad luck for the other team. You know, I don't know.
That's a pretty good response. So we talked to Coach right before you came up, and he felt bad. He's like, I said the word I should never say in the locker room, and he just slipped out. And you know, as soon as I said it, I was like, oh no. What was your reaction to that?
Well, he did his whole speech to the team, and then right as he's walking out of the locker room, he says, "Let's get Keith the shutout." And man, I just sunk into my pads. I was just like, I can't believe he did that. And then everyone was looking at me. So I mean, the mojo was messed up from there. So I was just happy we got the win, honestly.
Yeah. So I mean, how were you able to keep your composure? I mean, you faced 2 penalty shots. I mean, I don't know how often that happens in your case. And you were able to hold the ground after that. What were you thinking during that time?
I mean, it's a situational game. I mean, of course, I didn't want 3 quick goals to make it that tight of a game to start off the period, but it's situational, so you got to battle from there. It's a 1-goal game from then on out, so we just held on.
What did the coach say during the timeout?
The timeout was crucial. I mean, they got those 2 goals within like 2 minutes probably. I honestly wasn't listening to him. I was just getting water by the bench, but talking to the goalie coach. But I don't know, it definitely helped to calm down the team. It was a crucial timeout.
Yeah, well, it was 30 seconds apart. Those 2 goals. Just let.
Really?
It probably seemed like 2 minutes for you. I mean,
I was on the siege for a little while there, so.
But I mean, you held your ground. So, yeah. I mean, how do you feel after today? I
mean, I feel good. It's playing goalie can be tough mentally sometimes, and you got to push through. And today I was able to do that. It feels good.
This was your first victory this year so far, right?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even played with the lead until this game. So I mean, it really feels good to get that behind me, and now I can move on.
Well, I'm sure you're tired, so we'll let you get a break.
All right.
And this is Phillip Prevost here with Keith Fagerquist. We have one more interview, I think, coming up, so stay tuned.
John Baranowski here. For those of you who are still tuning in, we were waiting on Dylan Talbot, but well, obviously it's been a long time, and well, I don't know if he's coming up at this point. So we're going to cut off the broadcast here. We will see you in just a couple weeks. We probably should advertise that a little better. I do want to say one more thing and make sure I get in about the Children's Hospital fundraiser. December 13th is the big day. We will have stuff next game, which I believe is November 1st. Yes, November 1st is our next game. I want to make sure I get this in here. Children's Hospital, the Cancer Ward. We're having a fundraiser for them. December 13th is that big game. We're trying to raise $20,000 from George Mason University Hockey. So come out, help us out, support for a great cause. For Be Brave and Shave campaign, Heroes Against Childhood Cancer. So with that, we're going to wrap up the broadcast. I'm John Baranowski for Phillip Prevost. Good night.